Welcome into the Jordy Culotta Show here on this Friday, presented by Go Chevrolet. Appreciate you being out there. If you found us on YouTube, new YouTube station is up. We tweeted it out. Make sure you're there. Set your notifications to let you know when we go live. Easier maybe to find us on the JordyCulottaShow.com, JordyCulottaShow.com. You can hit us there on the web. They've got an audio and a video tab where you can stream either. And if you want to close it out and play it background of your browser, close out the phone,
we're on.
We're good.
Hey, we got a lot of testing to go over here. We're checking all of our avenues.
Been a hell of a week here at the Jordy Culotta Show.
We're wrapping it up.
Have you seen a better week come back? Have you ever seen a better comeback in a week?
Not just yet.
Yeah,
Little
pivot.
It has been it's been a hell of a week for sure. We appreciate you staying with us, sticking with us, supporting us out there. The numbers off of the
website.
The website yesterday were fantastic, so we
awesome.
Appreciate you finding us there. Probably going to be the easiest place to take us in every day, as you can, as we said, check out the audio. You can check out the video. You can close that out in your background of your phone, and you'll be able to check that out. So
chat to come.
That's right. Chat on the way. Chat on the way.
Chat on the way.
Speaking about on the way today, we got Eddie Smith, who is the LSU hitting coach, is going to stop by here at 8 o'clock this morning. Tigers had their first pitch bumped up a little earlier today with some weather on the horizon, as LSU baseball will open up their first game of a 3-game set versus Oral Roberts. That'll be at 1 o'clock today. They'll play at 3 o'clock tomorrow and then 2 o'clock again on Sunday. Tigers have been rolling offensively. We'll talk to Coach Eddie Smith about what he's seen from his lineup here to start the season, as he'll stop by at 8 o'clock this morning. LSU football assistant head coach Mickey Joseph and the wide receivers coach is going to stop by here at 7:30 this morning. And really looking forward to our conversation with Mick, as he'll stop by and talk about spring football, what they're looking to get accomplished coming up this spring. How about the wide receivers that they will roll out not only this spring, but of course coming up this season.
What a room, man!
You talk about with the signing class and what they have going on it'll be fun to talk about that with Mickey Joseph coming up here at 7:30 this morning. Then in the 8 o'clock hour, we'll catch up with John Brady, as LSU basketball is scheduled to go to Missouri tomorrow for a quad 1 win. Coach Will Wade and his crew working out right now, as they will have a practice this morning and a film session between 7 and 10 a.m. and then get on a plane and fly up to Missouri for their last regular season game of the year. We'll talk to Coach Brady about that matchup coming up. And then Nathan Velasquez, as he usually is on Fridays, will be here for the 5-minute critic, as Nate was breaking down the Big Lebowski on the 5-minute critic this week. So really looking forward to catching up with him. Remember, our coffee daily is brought to you by Majestic. Shout out to those guys over at Majestic Coffee who offer that up daily. Our phone line is brought to you by Metropolitan Health Group. So when we talk to anybody today on the phone, which all of our guests will be there, Mickey Joseph, Eddie Smith, John Brady, and Nathan Velasquez, all of it brought to you by Metropolitan Health Group. Real doctors, real solutions. Shout out to Charlie Harvey and Jason Ramazan for supporting the show as always. And, of course, Go Chevrolet, driving us every day. GEAUX, Chevrolet.com. Huge day over on campus, as our guy Michael Thompson, who is our video producer, has got to cut out of here a little early because of his main job is over at WVLA and Fox, and he'll be covering the press conference, which I'd imagine he'll be one of many this morning on LSU's campus that are going to be reporting and coming in for the USA Today, the internal investigation and the findings that will be presented. That will happen at 10 o'clock this morning over on LSU's campus, and this has been an investigation that has gone on for a while now. We've heard the back and forth both between the media outlet and LSU, and yesterday some of the news, all of the news really, on the report was centered around former LSU head football coach Les Miles, who was accused of texting females, taking them to his condo alone, making them feel uncomfortable, and on at least one occasion He kissed a student and suggested that they go to a hotel after telling her he could help her with her career.
And the old ace card.
According to an internal investigation report that was released by LSU on Thursday. The investigation was done by law firm Taylor Porter on behalf of LSU in 2013 and did not find that Miles had sexual relationships, and this is coming right from the USA Today article, had sexual relationships with any of these women, but it found his behavior to be inappropriate. Miles strongly denied kissing the girl, according to the report. He said that he did nothing wrong and was simply mentoring young women at the university. Miles also was accused by athletic department staff of saying that the female student workers who helped the football team lure top recruits needed to be attractive, blonde, and fit, according to the investigation report. Existing student employees who did not meet this criteria should be given fewer hours or terminated, according to the report. As a result of the investigation, LSU issued Miles a letter of reprimand that he was ordered to stop meeting with students one-on-one and stop being alone with the students one-on-one as that was handed out by LSU, and he was ordered to stop hiring student employees to babysit his family and was not allowed to be alone with them. The report ultimately determined that LSU was unable to substantiate any legal violation, according to the letter that was offered by Taylor Porter to Peter Ginsburg, who is Miles' attorney. LSU has concluded that Miles engaged in behavior which showed poor judgment. Miles, who is now the head coach at Kansas, also had to attend 8 one-hour sessions with an attorney to pay for them himself and had to pay for them himself. A Kansas athletic spokesman told the Lawrence Journal-World on Thursday, that the university was in the process of reviewing and investigating the report. They were aware of what happened at LSU, issuing an additional report on Friday, and they will continue or wait to comment until further documents have been reviewed. USA Today has reported widespread mishandling of sexual misconduct allegations by LSU's athletic department and administrations, and as a result, LSU hired a law firm, Hush Blackwell, in November to audit its handling of dozens of sexual misconduct cases in 2016. The results of that investigation will be released this morning. That'll be happening at 10 a.m. on campus, and I'd imagine that there are going to be a lot of people that are going to be paying attention and are going to be intrigued to find out what these findings show. Yesterday, I was on Twitter a little bit and talking about the Les Miles situation, and Brody Miller had the investigation, the internal investigative report that was released on Miles yesterday that he tweeted out, and I just quote tweeted it with the language that said, "The man labeled as the family man was far from it. These findings surprised no one who were close or covering the program during the Miles years." Once I sent that tweet out, that there were a few people that said that the press or people covering the program at the time were enabling Miles. And that was probably a pretty irresponsible tweet for me yesterday afternoon, talking about the Miles situation so broad like that. At no point did I or did any of my colleagues at the time, and we've been covering LSU football for well over a decade now, which has that 2013 window has that 2013 season in that window. Never at that time or at any time did me, my colleagues, my coworkers, or my peers hear anything close to sexual assault. Never heard anything of sexual harassment. The only rumors that were abound during that time was that Miles was chasing tail, was that he was a hound. And I don't think that it took anybody that was close to the program or really covering the program. You heard Ross Dellinger, who was here earlier this week. I believe Dellinger was here on Monday morning when some of those reports about Miles had already started to come out over the weekend about some of the things that entailed in the report and what was being found. And as Dellinger expressed on Monday, there was not a lot of surprise there. And I believe I said the same thing on Friday, or I said it earlier in the investigation, that this had been a reputation for Miles extending, back to around the national championship at LSU in 2007. I mean, you started to hear whispers, rumors about what was going on with Miles as far as, just his infatuation in chasing women. I mean, it was pretty well known to groups and people that were close to the program. But again, never in any instance, never in any time of hearing some stories or hearing hearsay or rumors or what people were talking about, did ever anyone bring up even a hint of assault or harassment. So I think it's different. It's different in the sense of that would have been reported, and it wouldn't have been reported by a media member. It would have been reported by somebody internally, I would believe, who had facts, details, and access to reports or personnel that was around that investigation. But what's pretty prominent during the time was that Miles was a hound and that he was constantly chasing women. And I say that the tweet yesterday was probably irresponsible in the sense because I didn't explain that while putting it out there. But I think if you've heard me or followed where I've been, it's been pretty obvious that I've always thought that Les Miles has been a fraud. Always. From day one. And this is a great example of why. Not only did he not have any grip on his football team or have any, in my opinion, I thought he was one of the most overrated college football coaches of all time. The man that was being dubbed and he was selling to the public as a family man, right? I mean, that was Miles's reputation for so many years at LSU, that he was the prominent family man and was always with his family and was standing by his wife. And coming out of the tunnel against Tennessee in 2005, he's asking, "Where's my wife? Where's my wife?" Looking just fraudulent. Because if anybody knew him behind the scenes or was covering the program, it was no secret. It wasn't as if he was trying to hide it. Really. I mean, all you had to do was spend a couple of days or weeks around the program and covering it and come up with the assumption of, this guy ain't no family man. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, the Barry has a certain type for who he wants to mentor, that's for sure.
The hat really ain't into his family as much as they say they are, right? I mean, like, this cat has got a wandering eye. I mean, this cat will ask a female, a lot like the report said, type your number into my phone under an alias, please. I mean, like, what are we doing?
Jane Doe 1, 2,
you know
3,
what I mean?
4.
Like,
you could be Jane Doe 5.
I mean, the that's how arrogant, that's how confident he was in that. Like, hey, just type your number into my phone and type it under a different name.
How many people bought into it?
Yeah,
that didn't say anything. Absolutely.
There was two females that have come forward with suggestions that they were uncomfortable or that there was a situation that had gone too far. How many bought the bait? How many bought the bait? I mean, his condominium right above Voodoo Barbecue, right there on the other side of the natatorium open field. What do they call that field right there in front of the natatorium? Is it right by the field house? You know, it was common knowledge. I mean, it really was. I mean, I hate to say it like that, but I mean, anybody that was in or around the program knew that apartment was used for much more than game day entertainment, right? Like, I mean, it was pretty well known that was his lifestyle. I mean, and so yesterday's tweet, while I saw some of the responses and I agree with some of the replies, that, well, if you knew that, then you were almost aiding and abetting it or enabling it. Well, nobody at that time heard anything, no whispers, nothing around assault or harassment. It was just that this was his lifestyle. This is what was going on. And the more that you would talk about that, the more that you would, speak openly about it, whether it be at LSU, in or around the media, in or around people that were close or covering the program, I mean, it was shrugged off. It was, yeah, I've heard it. I mean, yeah, sure. Or I know people. I told a story last week on this show that if you read the internal investigation, if you read the USA Today feedback that they got from Miles, it's exactly what I said a week ago. And I had no idea that was going to be a part of it. We had at my former place of employment, we would have young, up and coming or aspiring broadcast journalism majors come in and read the traffic for us in the mornings. We did traffic report on radio stations, and to that's kind of considered a graveyard shift, right? Morning traffic. You got to get there at 4. Lloyd's been there. I've been there. Anybody that's been in the medium. Stop. I mean, that's where you.
Let's see if you really want to do this.
You really want to do radio?
Yeah.
See you at 4 o'clock tomorrow morning with traffic reports on 3 radio stations.
And come back and do it in the afternoon.
That's exactly right. There was a young female LSU student who had started to work where I was working. And we would use a production studio that was kind of universally used by the entire floor. And there was probably 3 or 4 people moving in and out of there throughout the mornings, cutting spots, cutting traffic reports, using the production room for production purposes. And she was sitting in there one morning, and she just kind of blurts out like this, "Oh my God." And everybody, natural reaction is, "What happened?" And she's like, "Les Miles just sent me a DM from his own personal Facebook account." And it was a lot with the language of, "Let me help your career. How can I assist you in helping your career?" But it was soaked in creepy old man language and lingo of, "Just come hang out with me."
I'm so lonely.
You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not laughing at it, but it was so blatant, and it was so in the open. I mean, there would have been no denial if anything would have been said that crossed a line, that it would have been bad news for Miles, because he's doing it from his own Facebook account. Like, he doesn't even have the audacity or even the nerve, because he knows that it's so widely accepted, or it's so widely inconsequential. You know what I mean? It didn't have any consequences. I mean, it was a lifestyle that he was leading, that people around him and people around the program knew about it. Again, I had no idea of assault. I had no idea of implications of assault. All I knew was that he was a hound, and that he was chasing it, and he was constantly chasing it. And I think, a lot like Dellinger said earlier this week, a lot like I said last week, it's not surprising. I mean, it's not surprising to hear that now. It's not surprising for this stuff to be coming out in the way it is. And I expect more to come out today around Les Miles. And I expect a lot of today to be centered around that time period at LSU that focuses on Joe Oliva, Les Miles, F. King Alexander, and the leadership that was running LSU during that time, and just how out of touch they were with not only their customer base, but the entire state, and guidelines as simple as this. I mean, it was obvious that Miles had been brought in and said that this is an issue. Like, even covering the program at that time, I didn't know that. I didn't know that they had signed him up, or that they had mandated for him to take 8 one-hour classes to try to remedy this. I didn't know that they told him to quit hiring student workers or quit asking student workers to babysit your kids. Could only use the work-issued phone. No more burner.
Well,
No.
that work-issue phone ain't going to stop him.
No.
Well, they got it right here. They'll look at it.
Oh, I know that, but he was sending it from his own Facebook, dude. I don't think he cared.
He didn't care.
Yeah.
Because there was no consequences. Because he was putting it so far into the public that it was almost like he was trying to hide it in plain sight.
It worked.
You know what I mean? Like I saw the story where he asked one of them to babysit. Yeah. Then he called him back and said, "You know what? Just come to the movies with me and my family."
Sit
and
in
then
the third row.
The same female was urged to spend the night at the apartment by Kathy Miles. Right. It's like the whole thing was just grimy, greasy, and maybe so.
That rung a bell in my head.
Maybe so. But
that would never mind.
But the lifestyle that he was leading during that time is coming out now, and I just, if you weren't close to the program, if you weren't following the program, this was it was widely known. It was known that was happening on campus, and I hate to say it like that, and people were coming at me on Twitter, well, then why didn't you say it on the radio? Well, then why didn't you report that? Because it's not our job to report on their personal lives. And you have to really understand at the time, if, say for instance, me, and you could call me, you can call me whatever you want, but at the time, you're trying to build your career, build your professional life. You're trying to build a radio show, and the one way to dead end that, to build a wall and crash that, is to say that the LSU head football coach is having an affair. I mean, like, you can't come out and say that publicly. And I know that you would say you're sitting maybe at your desk or you're sitting in your car or wherever you may be and sitting and saying, well, I mean, you got no balls. You should have said it. Well, I mean, that's the decision that we made at the time. And you don't have the facts in line. You don't have names. You just hear rumors. You just hear hearsay. You just hear what people are talking about that are close to or in and around that program or close to Miles. I mean, it didn't take an investigative reporter to find this stuff out. Now, the harassment, the assault, the stuff that was going on there, I have never heard any of that. I had never heard or even a threat of that being mentioned about Les Miles and his behavior. So it'll be interesting to see what Kansas does in the wake of today. They said that they're putting out their own report today, and what they find, they were digging into the reviews and going to get some feedback on what was happening there. But this is going to be it's going to be a hell of a day for LSU, the administration, the athletics board, the athletics department. And, I think a lot more is going to come out. Not a lot more, but I think that you will see more details come out around Les Miles and around Joe Oliva and around F. King Alexander and some of the stuff that they were either not doing, hiding, covering up, or, just the way that organization was run during that time was very loose, very irresponsible. And, a lot of that stuff is going to come out during that time period. And it's coming out at 10 o'clock this morning. We were scheduled to talk to Collis Temple Jr. Today here on the Jordy Culotta Show. And we had great conversation without him throughout the week. And we talked to him at 6:30 this morning. And he said, look, we're having meetings before meetings now. This thing was scheduled to go off at 10 o'clock. He was actually going to come by and sit in the studio with us for an hour and a half this morning. We're going to talk about everything from Sports Academy to Tyrus Thomas, Glenn Davis, Garrett Temple, to that Final Four run, to this morning's board meeting, now that he's on the board of directors at LSU. I mean, Lloyd and I were sitting in here at 6:15 this morning. I had him on speakerphone, and he said, Culotta, I'd love to be there, and I'm going to come next week, but I can't do it today.
I got things before things.
I mean, they got meetings before meetings. They got phones ringing right now. People are trying to get in touch, and people are trying to make things happen. This thing is going to be, it's going to be drama at 10 o'clock. It's going to be deep at 10 o'clock. It's going to be a lot of stuff that may not be that you may not even anticipate hearing. Is what I've been told. There's a lot of juicy stuff that everybody is kind of not looking forward to, but kind of waiting to hear on how it was working and how this certain person was in and involved there. And I think it's a lot deeper than that. So it'll be interesting to see what happens at 10 o'clock this morning. But I just wanted to say that to start today's show that, look, I saw the feedback on Twitter, and even when I went back and read my tweet, it seems a little irresponsible, and it seems like it is personal. And anybody that has followed me understands that I think Les Miles is a joke as a football coach. And I think he's a fraud. And I think he always has been. And when I was covering the program and I was hearing rumors and hearing hearsay and hearing the things that you were hearing about his personal life, it was even more laughable that he was trying to sell you that he was a family man. And it just went into the fraudulent ways of what I was feeling in covering Miles. I thought he was a BS football coach that wasted more talent than most schools has even seen on their campus. I mean, forget guys like Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry, Kadron Boone, James Wright, wide receivers like that. Think about guys like Daniil Hunter, who he had playing in a 4-point stance with two hands in the dirt in his last game at LSU. He nearly set the rookie sack record in the NFL his first year with Minnesota. He had 2.5 sacks, 3 sacks at LSU. That's almost impossible to do with a prospect like that. It was unbelievable how bad of a football coach he was. It really was. I mean, he wasted more talent that came through here, spurred more talent. Cameron Robinson, the 5-star offensive tackle that went to West Monroe, was at LSU's football camp as a 12, 13, 14-year-old wearing Glenn Dorsey's jersey. He had posters of LSU football wall to wall in his room. Anybody you can make all the jokes you want about Saban cheating and doing all this stuff to get him. At the end of the day, Cam Robinson didn't want to go play for Les Miles. Because Les Miles was selling Cam Robinson, I'm the offensive line coach. I'm the one who played offensive line. I'm the guy that can get you to the league. And then Nick Saban follows him up with a recruiting pitch saying, you're not going to listen to that, are you? You're going to listen to that clown tell you about the offensive line and the guys that he's produced. At that time, they hadn't had a draft pick in the offensive line in almost like 6 years. I mean, it was appalling the amount of talent that he wasted at LSU during his time. And it was laughable that he was selling the public on this family man approach. And I think all of his fraudulent ways are really kind of hitting the fan right now. And I'll wait and see what Kansas. I don't know how he makes it at Kansas. I mean, forget the fact that he's won 3 games. 3 games in 3 years. And you're paying him $3 million. I mean, fraud. Fraud.
It's oozing from every pore from him.
I mean, it's a joke. I mean, it was his best friend, Jeff Long, who's like a fraternity buddy of his, that hired him at Kansas. Him and Jeff Long went to Michigan together. Yeah, that's why he was even in talks for a job. And his friend does him a favor almost to get him the gig. He's won 3 games in 3 years. I mean, it's terrible football. I think that I'm not surprised. And anybody that really is by this stuff that's going on around Miles right now that's coming out in this report, you really weren't paying attention during his time here because it was easy to hear that stuff. It was easy to see that stuff. I mean, you could go to the recruiting bash and he'd be scoping anybody that walked out in front of him. Daily, we're brought to you by Go Chevrolet, online at GEAUXChevrolet.com. Get in touch with Lee Carney, Nick Richard, and the crew down there in LaPlace, Louisiana. Let them get you into a brand new make and model of Chevrolet this morning. They want to make the buying process very easy. They'll do that online at GEAUXChevrolet.com. Go Chevrolet, located in LaPlace, Louisiana. Nick Richard, Lee Carney, and the crew. Stop in and see them. They're on Facebook, social media. Tell them you heard it right here on the Jordy Culotta Show. We will talk to Mickey Joseph about the current LSU football team next, what to anticipate in spring. How about this wide receiver class and the quarterback competition heading into another season under Ed Ogeron? Mickey Joseph next, right here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Hey, you know it's no secret what we got going over here at the Jordy Culotta Show. We're trying to disrupt how media and advertising moves forward. My friend of over 35 years, Barrett Blondo, is doing the same thing for real estate with his new company, Falaya. I met with him in his own personal undisclosed location, and I got to see firsthand what Falaya has been doing and what he's been working on. It blew my mind, man. They are putting all the tools once reserved for professionals right in the hands of the homeowner. It's basically for sale by owner on steroids. For more information, give my guy Barrett Blondo a call today at 225-939-6153 or visit him at Falaya. That's FALAYA.com for more info. Barrett Blondo over at Falaya.com. Changing the game in real estate. Every time we talk to LSU head basketball coach Will Wade here on the Jordy Culotta Show, it's brought to you by Phil's Oyster Bar. Some exciting new things coming up at Phil's here during the Lenten season, including featuring new seafood specials every Friday, in addition to the seafood-filled menu over there. And they're offering up brunch right now on Saturday and Sundays, which will have bottomless mimosas. Don't forget Monday night 50-cent oysters and $2 draft beers, all over at Phil's Oyster Bar. Check them out. They're online at philsoysterbar.com, but they're located in the South Downs Shopping Center, a staple here in Baton Rouge for a long time. Go tell Anthony Piazza and the crew hello. Phil's Oyster Bar. Hey, if you're in the market for a custom home, get in touch with our friend Rhett Bourgeois over at RMB Builders. They're online at rmb-builders. And Rhett can do just about anything you need around the house. He can build you a new one. He can repair the one you're in. He can remodel. If you need commercial construction help, he's licensed for commercial as well. He can handle an office renovation, building maintenance. Check out everything. It's online at rmb-builders.com. He's on social media, Instagram and Facebook. You can find him at the handle at RMB Builders LLC. But the website is fantastic. Check him out, rmb-builders.com. Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, presented every day by Go Chevrolet. Stop in and see Lee Carney, Nick Richard, and the crew. LSU football going through their fourth quarter program, gearing up for spring practice. Tigers look like they're getting right after a last year that just didn't feel right. Just didn't feel right from the start, 5-5. Now into the offseason with the good vibes back around the program. Assistant head football coach over with the Tigers is Mickey Joseph. He has done an incredible job of keeping LSU both relevant on the recruiting trail and keeping these wide receivers, man. The wide receiver class, good Lord, how much talent they got coming in, to adding that to the talent they have on the roster. Can't wait to talk to Mick about it. And he joins us right now from the Ponderosa as they wrap up fourth quarter here on a Friday morning. Mick, good morning. How are you?
Man, how you doing, baby? You doing all right?
Yes, sir. Doing great, man. Not as good as you guys. It feels like the vibes are coming back around to LSU football, and the respect is there, Coach. We talked to Keith Sanchez earlier this week. We talked to Jeff Martin late last week. All those guys said, man, this roster going into the season, LSU's truly got something and could be special. You guys as a coaching staff, how do you feel about your crew heading into spring?
Well, so far the kids are unbelievable right now. Coach O did a great job of recruiting our kids back. Because everybody says it's on position coach, but the head coach ultimately can get them back. And Coach O did a great job of getting all those kids to return. And we having a great full quarter right now. We having great football school right now. We feel like we're on the right track. We got just really good energy, good positive energy in the building. Brought on JT over on offense and DJ back, and you got Durante over on defense, and Blake over there on defense. So we got a lot of energy, a lot of young guys just ready to roll.
Mick, you've been at the centerpiece of these offensive changes, these offensive staff moves. I mean, you've kind of been the constant there in the middle of it, and your group has really been the group that has succeeded with these changes. Can you talk about bringing Jake Peets and DJ Mangus back in to the fold on that side of the ball, and how you guys are working together and collaborating together on building a plan for this season and beyond?
Well, we knew we had to get back to some of the things we did the year we won it all. We knew we had to get back to it, and by us having all the kids to return, to come back, the whole roster to come back, we knew we could get to it. So we just had to get some guys in here that understood what Coach wanted to do. And, DJ was a part of it. He was a part of it, and he understands what Coach wants in the passing game. And JP's unbelievable. He's got a lot of energy. He's got a lot of knowledge. He's a great quarterback teacher, they're in here and they're doing a great job. They're doing a really great job, and we miss Steve, we missed us guys, we missed Scott Lindenham, those great guys, but the new guys coming in, they know their role, and they're doing a great job with it right now. And like you say, I've been here from the beginning with Coach, and Coach is doing a great job of putting this staff together.
Fourth quarter program's happening right now. Another one under Coach Tommy Moffitt. This is the fifth time you've seen this offseason in the fourth quarter program. What comes out of this? What do you guys find during this process of the program?
I mean, right now, when people say, "Hey, work on little things," no, everything's big around here now. The focus is laser focus. It is what we've been preaching since we've been here. You chase two rabbits, you catch none. So we chasing one rabbit a day. And when it's full quarter, it's full quarter. When it's weightlifting, it's weightlifting. When it's football school, it's football school. So the focus is there from the staff to the kids, and everything's clicking right now. And we just got to continue to teach and work on everything that we need to work on, and keep the kids in tune, and keep them going, because they got positive energy right now. They understood what happened last year, and we all did. It was a season that wanted to make you throw up, and these kids have never lost like that. So. But the thing about it is that they're back here and they're getting the job done right now.
Your group, Mick, I want to talk about the group that you signed, but first the group that you have on campus with you right now. Keishawn Butte sets the career record, receiving record in the last regular season game, which gives you something to grow on with that freshman. But talk about the group of wide receivers that you have in the room right now, and then I want to get to the additions that you'll make in the offseason.
Well, if you start with the Z position, Jeray Jenkins is just a veteran. I mean, some people say, well, he don't jump out at you, but he don't do nothing but catch the ball and get first downs. And he's a great leader of the group. He's been here. This is I want to say his fourth year, so he's been here. So he understands how we do things around here, and he's doing a great job. And we got John Trey to come back. John Trey, elected not to go pro. He could have went pro. Thought he probably would have got drafted. But he elected to come back, because, he's give us more depth, and he's going to do great on special teams. And the surprise, Alex Adams, the kid out of Mississippi, he's a big kid that can run. Kid ran 10-4 in high school, but real raw. But he's really coming along. I thought he had one of his best practices this morning. And then when we go over to the F position, we talk about Trey Palmer, a speedy kid that the light has gone off. So I'm really happy where he's at right now on the field and off the field, because he's really doing great in school and getting it done. Then you go to Corey Moore. Corey Moore is really a solid kid. He's real twitchy. He's kind of, you can depend on him. He's physical in the run game. He's going to catch the ball. And then you go outside. You got Keyshawn. Keyshawn had a hell of a year last year. And I'll tell you, even when Jamar was here, Keyshawn was battling Jamar, trying to beat him out. He was trying to beat him out, and that's what I like about it. He comes to fight every single time. And Devontae Lee, he's really having a good off season right now. I'm really excited to see him get into spring ball, because he's a big body that can catch the ball, and he's physical, so we've got a good group, and then, with the young kids. Deion Smith's already here. You know, he's rehabbing his foot right now, so we're going to hold him out a full quarter, but he should be ready to go probably by the middle of spring ball. You know, and just you got Chris Hilton. Chris Hilton's one of the, I think, the most polished one in the group. You know, come up, is well coached. You know, get things done. I mean, he can play outside or inside. Really, really excited about him. And then Brian Thomas. Brian Thomas is a big target that can run. He's just a freakish kid. You know, he's a freak because he's a big kid that can run, catch, come in and out of his breaks. You know, really like him. You know, then if you go to Malik, and a lot of people say, you know, Malik probably was the best receiver in the state. Yeah. Well, because of his mentality, you know, he's going to get after you. He reminds me so much of Jamar Chase mentality. And, you know, and his skills. These kids don't come in here first rounders. You know, the program Coach O puts together, we continue to develop them. We develop into first rounders, and that's what they believe in. But one thing about these kids are not scared to come into a loaded room. Yeah. This room's always going to be loaded. I promised Coach that when I got here, that I was going to recruit kids with high character, and we were going to recruit kids that was going to come in here and bust their tail every day, and kids that's not scared of competition. You know, and that's what happened right now. And there's a loaded room, and everybody knows it. But you know what? They get along. They like brothers. They do fight amongst each other. You know, but they love each other, and they understand that the best player is going to win. And if you deserve to play, you're going to play. You know, and that's the bottom line.
It feels like 1 through 10 that you got a bunch of dogs in there. I mean, it just seems like whoever you put out there is going to make plays. Where does Besh fit in? Because I know that he was a late signee, and when you look at his numbers to the class, he stands out. But then next to Thomas, next to Neighbors, next to Hilton, next to Smith, I mean, he doesn't look like them. But when you look at the numbers, I mean, he fits in.
One thing we like about Jack, we know Jack gonna stick his head in the fan, so he's gonna go back and forth. He's gonna go back to the Y room, and then he's also gonna be with us also as a receiver. And we're gonna have a package for Jack. You know, we won't tell you exactly what we're gonna do with him, but we got the package in now, and Jack's gonna be a part of this package, and we're really excited about him because I think he's a matchup problem. When we put 12 personnel on the field and we split him out, now you got to decide who you're gonna put on him. You're gonna put a linebacker on him, or you're going to put a little small nickelback. And Jack's real physical. He's a kid. He bleeds purple and gold. We're so happy to have him, and we expect big things out of him once he gets here.
Yeah, an incredible basketball highlight that featured him the other night. Man, I mean,
he bounced on that guy. He
bounced off the ground.
He's more athletic than some people give him now. He might be one of the athletic ones in the class.
I believe that. You got to love your competition at quarterback right now, huh, Mick?
I told my dad this a couple of days ago. I think this is the best quarterback room that LSU has ever had, but it might be one of the best quarterback rooms in the nation. You know, because we got 4 kids that can come in here and I think can get the job done. I'm excited to see them go. You know, see them go at it with each other because, like I told the receivers, you know, you can't say you're not in with a good quarterback, and they agreed. They're like, "Nah, coach, all 4 of them can play." So you know, let them battle, and the best man wins.
Durante Jones running the defense. He's in just for the last couple of months. What have you seen from him? What's the communication been like? Derek Stingley Sr. stopped by here 2 weeks ago and just told a story about Durante being on the job 2 days, and he had picked up the phone and called Stingley Jr. And Jr. said back to Senior, look, that had gone a million miles for him just for reaching out and starting to try and develop a personal relationship with one of his best players. What have you seen from Durante on the job in the last couple of weeks?
Well, we consider Durante a part of the Joseph family. Durante started with me in 2000 at Nickel State as a part-time coach living in the dorms. You know, so we've been knowing Durante, you know, for over 27 years. Durante was in Miami with my brother Van, so he's under my brother's tree. You know, for his coaches that's coached under my brother, and we always knew he was very sharp. You know, we knew that he was very knowledgeable, and he had good people skills, but he got energy. He's quiet, but he's got energy, and he'll get after your ass, you know. And that's one thing we knew about him, and when Coach asked me about him, you know, Coach said, "You like him?" I said, "No, Coach, I love him." You know, I love him. You know, like I said, he's part of our family, our Joseph family. We respect the hell out of Durante. We appreciate him, you know, coming from the NFL. Some guys don't want to come from the NFL and come into the SEC West because there's a pressure cooker. But he didn't blink. You know, he reached out and said, "Hey, I want that job." Coach brought him in. He did a great job. He's doing a great job with the kids. He's doing a great job with the staff. And, you know, him and Corey in the back end, that might be the dynamic duo in the back end. Might be the best 2 back end guys in the country. You know, and you know, Blake Baker's doing a great job at the linebackers. Andre Carter's doing a great job. with the D-line, with Christian Lockett, Manny Michel, and, Coach O's in there. That's his baby right there.
Yeah.
So I think the defensive staff is really solid right now, really excited, see what those guys are going to do. But so far, man, they've been getting it done. They've been getting it done, and Durante's providing great leadership over there.
Mick, you're considered a triple threat in the coaching game. You can speak it, you can coach it, and then you can recruit it. We've had a couple of guys here the last couple of weeks that says the class of 2022 in the state of Louisiana might be the best that they've seen since Jarvis, Odell, and the crew came out back in 2011 with Lyell and Jeremy Hill and those guys. From your point of view, what do you see the state and the future prospects looking like this recruiting cycle?
Well, we can't mention by names, sure, but the thing about the 22 class in Louisiana is really loaded. But, even when we first got here, Coach O we always look in-state first. We look in-state first, and if we go out of state, that means we try to go out, and that means we think this kid's a first rounder, and he's a no-brainer. But we always going to give the kids in-state the first look, and people might not think we do, but we do. We look at every kid in-state that we think that can play at LSU. Now, don't get us wrong. Don't get us twisted. Everybody can't play at LSU.
Right.
But I tell you, as long as you play college football, and you graduate from college, you're a success. So any kid in the state of Louisiana that we think that can play at LSU, we watch film and we give them a fair evaluation. Because we owe that to the kids. We owe that to the high school coaches who've been great to us. So we do it the fair way. And I mean, everybody might not agree with us all the time, but I always tell them that we can't let y'all pick our roster.
Yeah, right.
We can't, but we do look at every kid in Louisiana. Coach Joe makes that a point that Louisiana's first, and everybody on his staff has a area in Louisiana that they recruit, and we do a good job recruiting the kids that can play here at LSU, and we're doing a damn good job of keeping the ones. And we might have lost one maybe since I've been here to out of state school, but the ones that we want, we usually get them.
Yeah. Assistant head coach for the LSU football team, Mickey Joseph. Last one. I know you're busy. Get you out of here. You guys have built a championship program. I know that last year was tough for not only the fan base, but more for you guys internally. Just talk about because the feel around you guys is at your back. I mean, it has a very good vibe feel to the program. Can you just talk about those days and knowing that, look, this wasn't going to stand, that Ogeron was going to get this thing moving in the right direction, and now here you guys are going into spring with a lot of good vibes around the program?
Yeah, Coach always preaches no finish line, and that's what we're looking at right now. We know what the finish line is the day after the national championship game. But right now, we take it one day at a time. Like I said before, the focus is there. When it's football school, it's football school. When it's weights, it's weights. When it's fourth quarter, it's fourth quarter. When it's spring ball, it's going to be one day at a time. Then we'll get the summer workouts. Then we'll get the fall camp. And then we'll start those 12 stop signs. And the first stop sign is UCLA. But right now, we're trying to get LSU better. We worry about nobody else but LSU. We get each other better right now. When it gets time to get to UCLA, this team will be ready. But right now, it's about getting us ready. And every day we come in this building to make LSU better. And I think that we're doing a great job. Coach is giving us great leadership. The coach is really, he's more focused than I ever seen him before. He was talking to me about a receiver stance on a block, and he showed me how to do it, and we did it, and it works. He's really focused right now with the task at hand, and I think the guys on the staff believe in what we're doing. And like I said, we're just gonna take it one day at a time. But I'm really excited about this team, and I'm excited about these kids because you're right, man. It was really hard. It was hard watching their face because there's not one game that they didn't fight, But they were young. They were young, no experience, And it's hard to play in the SEC West without experience. But they fought, and they showed you what they can do. They went into a number 6 Florida team and beat them as a 23-point underdog. And so you knew it was there. Now, the thing about it is we got to continue to develop them day in and day out, and we're doing it. So, like I say, once we go take step by step and we get to fall camp and we get to the first game, this team will be ready.
Mickey Joseph, LSU wide receivers coach, assistant head coach, Shaw's finest, and now representing LSU as good as anyone. Thank you, as always, for the time, Mick. We'll catch up soon. Looking forward.
I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all.
Yes, sir. There is Mickey Joseph checking in. Looking forward to seeing their group play and get out on the field for spring football, which is right around the corner. That conversation is brought to you by Falaya. Remember over at Falaya.com that it's no secret they are disrupting what is going on in real estate. My friend for over 35 years, Barrett Blondo, is doing that over at Falaya. He's been working on and putting together the tools once reserved for professionals, and he's putting it right in the hands of the homeowner. It's basically for sale by owner on steroids. If you want more information, visit Barrett Blondo or call him this morning at 939-6153 or visit online at falaya.com. Everything has changed. Isn't it time technology made buying and selling a house easier and a whole lot cheaper? We're introducing falaya.com from Barrett Blondo. From virtual tours to push-button offers, Falaya is redefining how real estate is sold. For more information, visit falaya.com or you can download the app today just by visiting Falaya inside your Apple, your Android app stores, getting those downloaded, and you can learn how you can sell your house by yourself, and you can do it very, very easy. That was good conversation with Mickey Joseph. That wide receiver room,
stacked.
I'm telling you, man.
Unbelievable.
Like, I mean, you start listing those guys off and just kind of rattling off the names of Jeray Jenkins and Coy Moore and Keyshawn Butte and guys that are already in the program right now, and to what the additions are going to mean. Now, look, there is going to be some growing pains for these true freshmen, right? I mean, there's going to be there's going to be some hurdles that you're going to have to overcome in just the transition of high school to college football. Some of these guys will be minimal. Like he said, I mean, Brian Thomas, just a freak.
Yeah.
Just a freak in nature. I mean, I remember I called the state championship, the basketball state championships when he was a freshman, and he was the MVP of the game as a ninth grader in the 5A state title basketball game. And I'm telling you, it wasn't even close. I believe the game was against Natchitoches Central. I mean, people were like, who the hell is this kid? And his coach was like, you know what the funny thing is? He's not even a basketball player. He's going to end up being a football player.
Better at football.
I mean, come to find out, he's one of the best wide receivers in the country. Add him to the room. Chris Hilton, the state's fastest player. I mean, and it ain't even close. Been winning the state high jump since he's been a freshman and just won the 400 meters for the second year in a row. 2 years ago, he was a track guy that looked like he was playing football. When he reports to Baton Rouge and present day right now, he's a football player that runs track. I mean, this cat is intimidating. He has taken the last couple of years and transformed his body, and he's not SEC ready today, but he's a lot closer than it feels like these other guys are. I mean, Deion Smith, who he gave you a little insight there, is battling with a foot injury. He's on the shelf until possibly spring practice. You got Brian Thomas, you got Chris Hilton, you got Malik Neighbors, who Coach Joseph just told you a couple of minutes ago. I mean, it was widely thought of within that recruiting room that Neighbors might have been the best wide receiver in the class. He had to sit out last season due to transfer rules in the LHSAA, so he didn't even play his senior season. Next thing you know, he's committed to Mississippi State. They have a meeting inside the recruiting office and said, guys, we cannot let Malik Neighbors go play in Starkville. He's in the class. He's a wide receiver. And then Jack Besh, who you heard, they already have the package implemented for Besh. They've already got the ideas of how they're going to use him. And he's got some versatility. He can play wide receiver. He can play tight end. He can do some things that the other guys can't. But at the end of it, Besh is a player, man. I mean, people want to maybe knock Besh. I think it's easy because people say he's white.
The Caucasian.
But really, when you look at his numbers and you look at his production and you see the times that he is giving you those it's usually in the biggest games at the biggest moments. You just can't let a player like that get away. Even if you don't know where he fits in or where you label him, he's just too good of an athlete and too good of a football player not to have in your class when he's from your backyard. Like Mickey said just a couple of minutes ago, they go through every player that's relevant in the state of Louisiana and ask, does he fit in at LSU? And sometimes there's guys that may be high-end players that you go down the list and you say, he just doesn't fit in with what we want to do, both philosophical and scheme-wise. Besh checked all the boxes, man. And I love to see him in this class, and I love a mind like DJ Mangus, Mickey Joseph, and Jake Peets being able to be creative with him. Brandon Hollingsworth said, did you see his alley-oop dunk? Yeah, we just asked Mickey Joseph about that dunk, because I don't know if you can pull it up. It's on Besh's Twitter account. But, I mean, just a dribble drive from the point guard the other night, sucked up the defense. They were playing zone defense. Best just kind of creeps in behind him. They put it over the rim. And, I mean, this cat skyrockets off the floor, grabs the ball at his elbows on the rim. I mean, his elbows are nearly on the rim when he grabs the alley-oop and just flushes it. I mean, I can't wait to see how Besh, Walker, Thomas, Hilton, Neighbors, Smith, how all these guys fit in with the wide receivers that they already have currently in the room, because they're getting back to that mindset of throwing the ball, man.
Yeah, One Team One podcast says the 337 guys are going off right now. Like Lafayette area.
Yeah.
The talent is just ridiculous.
I mean, like Keyshawn Butte, the way he ended the season, I mean, he was one of the top receivers in the league. Forget to freshman. And then that was some good insight from Mickey on the quarterback competition. I mean, it's been since Jamarcus, Ryan Perrilloux, and Matt Flynn since you've seen a quarterback room as healthy and as competitive as LSU features right now. And then before that, you would have to probably go back to like Craig Nall, Rohan Davey, and Josh Booty. I mean, like 2000, 1999, before you've had quarterback competition like you've got right now. Miles Brennan, TJ Finley, Max Johnson, Garrett Nussmeyer's on campus. I mean, this would be fun to watch these guys go through spring, because I don't think they'll all be here in the fall. I think somebody will realize and recognize that I'm the odd man out, and whoever that is probably going to transfer. But the competition until then is going to be fantastic. All right, Eddie Smith and the LSU baseball team, they have had their game moved up until 1 o'clock today due to some weather. They're absolutely ripping the cover off the ball right now on offense. It seems like Coach Smith has a lot of options that he can dig into, whether it's some of these freshmen like, Brody Drost, who seems to take advantage of every opportunity he has been given here through the first 9 games of the season. We will talk to Coach Eddie Smith from LSU baseball next. Don't forget, we got coming up, John Brady's going to stop by in the 8 o'clock hour. Coach Brady will give us some insight on this LSU basketball team as they're taking off to Missouri for a Saturday matchup tomorrow. Big news this morning over at LSU is that internal investigation is going to be presented. The facts will be presented at 10 o'clock this morning, LSU baseball on the diamond. We'll also talk to Jake Crane of the J-Boy Show, who does a fantastic job in the SEC of keeping up with recruiting, football, and looking forward to catching up with Crane at some point this morning. We got Nathan Velasquez checking in, so we might have a little extended edition of the Jordy Culotta Show on this Friday as we come to you daily and brought to you by Go Chevrolet. We will talk to Eddie Smith next when we come back here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Every time we talk to LSU head basketball coach Will Wade here on the Jordy Culotta Show, it's brought to you by Phil's Oyster Bar. Some exciting new things coming up at Phil's here during the Lenten season, including featuring new seafood specials every Friday, in addition to the seafood-filled menu over there. And they're offering up brunch right now on Saturday and Sundays, which will have bottomless mimosas. Don't forget Monday night 50-cent oysters and $2 draft beers, all over at Phil's Oyster Bar. Check them out. They're online at philsoysterbar.com, but they're located in the South Downs Shopping Center, a staple here in Baton Rouge for a long time. Go tell Anthony Piazza and the crew hello. Phil's Oyster Bar. Hey, if you're in the market for a custom home, get in touch with our friend Rhett Bourgeois over at RMB Builders. They're online at RMB-Builders, and Rhett can do just about anything you need around the house. He can build you a new one. He can repair the one you're in. He can remodel. If you need commercial construction help, he's licensed for commercial as well. He can handle an office renovation, building maintenance. Check out everything. It's online at rmb-builders.com. He's on social media, Instagram and Facebook. You can find him at the handle at RMB Builders LLC. But the website is fantastic. Check him out, rmb-builders.com. Hey, it's no secret what we got going over here at the Jordy Culotta Show. We're trying to disrupt how media and advertising moves forward. My friend of over 35 years, Barrett Blondo, is doing the same thing for real estate with his new company, Falaya. I met with him in his own personal undisclosed location, and I got to see firsthand what Falaya has been doing and what he's been working on. It blew my mind, man. They are putting all the tools once reserved for professionals right in the hands of the homeowner. It's basically for sale by owner on steroids. For more information, give my guy Barrett Blondo a call today at 225-939-6153 or visit him at Falaya. That's FALAYA.com for more info. Barrett Blondo over at Falaya.com. Changing the game in real estate. Welcome back to the Jordy Culotta Show right here on a Friday morning. Good vibes. LSU baseball getting going at 1 o'clock today. The weather has been fantastic. The other day at the box for the doubleheader looked like a postcard. Coach Eddie Smith is the hitting coach as he has got this crew right now rolling as the LSU offense leading the country in home runs.
The bats, Coach.
Coach Eddie Smith, they said it was a hard job to be the LSU baseball hitting coach.
Well, it's been a fun start to the season, Jordy, and just looking forward to getting after it today.
And I meant that with a lot of sarcasm behind it because it's obvious that you have done a tremendous job with this offense early on. And we said it coming in, Coach. It seems like you've got options. I mean, no matter what options you have put out there, whether it's been Drost hitting third or experimenting with some of these new faces and names, the guys have given you the production back. What have you seen that has been so positive from your group here through the first 9 games of the season?
I think you make a really good point. I think there are a lot of options out there for us, and I think the great thing about options is that competition can just make everybody better. You know, I think that when the guys are looking out there and maybe they're down for a few days with an injury or their name's on the lineup one day, and they look out there and they see somebody else, getting some hits and they're playing their position. When they get back and healthy or they get back in the lineup, there's a little extra fire in them. And, to be able to have that kind of depth, it's really important in a 56-game college season because injuries are going to come up and there's going to be bumps in the road. So when you can plug in the next man and he's just as good as the guy that you got in there, that's a huge benefit.
Coach, hitting is a mentality. Right? I mean, is that you coach it as a mentality? And I ask that in the sense of, do you coach all these guys the same from that standpoint? I mean, does Dylan Cruz get the same tutoring as somebody else when you teach it as a mentality like you do?
Well, when we're talking about the mental side of hitting, absolutely. And I think that just encompasses the whole game of baseball. I think you got to play this game on the attack. I think you got to play this game with the thought that you're going to impose your will, that you're going to go show up to the ballpark and go toe-to-toe with your opponent. If you're in the batter's box, it's you versus that pitcher, and you're going to find a way to win. And, it doesn't matter 1 through 19 of our hitters. It doesn't matter who you are. When we're talking about the mental side of it, we want everybody playing with that aggressive, attacking mindset.
Cruz, Coach, Dylan Cruz, through the first 9 games, I mean, he just looks different than the rest of them out there. I mean, the ball sounds different coming off his bat from your position, your point of view. What have you seen from this freshman?
Jordy, it's a tool set that is as good as I've ever seen on a college baseball field out of a freshman. And when the lights come on, you start playing games against another team. Tools are wonderful, but you got to perform. And that's always the question mark with any freshman or any college baseball player is, hey, what happens when the game comes? And, sometimes there's fall stars, guys who are really good in practice, or, 5 o'clock hitters who can take great batting practices. But when it comes game time, they just sort of melt under the lights. And, the stars come out when the lights come on. And Dylan has just done an amazing job of, letting his tools, letting his preparation take over. And obviously what you're seeing out there in his performance, just it's remarkable.
Brody Drost is another first-year guy that right now is knocking the cover off the ball. Both him and Dylan through this 7-game win streak that you guys are experiencing right now. Both hitting .444. And Drost is that guy that when I was talking about options that first jumped to mind. I mean, it seems like he has taken advantage of every opportunity that you guys have given him. What about Drost through the first 9 and kind of where he fits in along the way?
I think Brody should be an inspiration for almost everybody that plays college baseball. He's a guy who wasn't in our opening day lineup. He's a guy who wasn't in the starting lineup for the first 5 games, and he came in as the, Louisiana State Player of the Year with some great accolades. He had a decent fall for a freshman. He's got a frame that, suggests that he could potentially be a Major League Baseball player, and that kind of potential. And, for the first 5 games, the way that it shook out, he didn't find himself in the lineup, but he got 3 opportunities in those first 5 games. And in those 3 opportunities, he hit 3 balls over 100 miles an hour, all for hits, 1 out of the ballpark. Yeah. And when somebody does that, when you seize the opportunity and you seize the moment, obviously it opens our eyes really quickly. And, he's got that X factor. He's got that gamer, the it factor in him. And, he's got some starts here over the last 4 games, and he's taken advantage of those. And hoping that maturity continues to come out of Brody in his game, and he can just ride this all season long.
You guys got 21 home runs going into today's game at 1 o'clock. But the last 7 games, you've been probably the hottest team in the country. And offensively, you're batting .317, 16 doubles, a triple, and 19 home runs. As the hitting coach of that production, what has been most impressive?
I think the way that the freshmen have gone about their business every single day, and really that dates back to the fall when you're talking about guys like Trey Morgan and Dylan Cruz. They came in here with a maturity about themselves, obviously in their skill set, but also in how they carried themselves. They didn't give days away. They came to get better every single day. We've had a mindset, a mantra of we want to get 1% better every single day, and that's something that we've been talking about since the fall. And I just look at what Dylan Cruz and Trey Morgan have done from that standpoint. There's not a lot of people that are built that way, both physically but also mentally, and how they go about their business and prepare themselves to be great.
Our entire staff just picked their heads up out of their computers and cell phones when you said trying to get 1% better every day, because that's what we've been living by on this Jordy Culotta show, Coach. Just get 1% better every single day. So it's good to hear the LSU baseball team is subscribing to that theory as well. What a beautiful day at the box the other day, Coach. We talked to you last week and said that one of the most depressing parts about last season was that you didn't have a true experience to really kind of gather and take in a day at the box. I'd imagine that doubleheader earlier this week was as good as baseball gets in South Louisiana.
Oh, it was beautiful. I mean, Chamber of Commerce Day right there. And I think we're going to have another one today. And, hey, I know we're all for getting 1% better, but I think we all have heard the news also that we're actually going to get 25% better and be up to 50% capacity here, I think, by next weekend. So, hey, things are trending the right way. And things are trending the right way on all accounts, and we got to keep it rolling on the baseball side.
Freshmen getting a lot of attention, as they should. Guys like Cruz, Morgan, and Drost. But how about your veterans? Guys like Gavin Dugas and Cade Doty, who I know is a little banged up right now. But even Drew Bianco and Cade Beloso have had a really nice start to the season, and they may be being overshadowed by these youngsters.
Absolutely. It's a team sport. It's a team sport. It takes all 35 guys. And, I think that you look at Gavin Dugas, he's maturing. He's coming along. He's had some big hits for us. I think there's still more in the tank. There's still some more consistency in his game that can come, and I'm thinking that's going to come here. You mentioned Cade Doty. I'll tell you, that guy just had a fantastic summer. He had a fantastic fall. He led us in hitting in the preseason scrimmages. He's coming, and I'm hoping this is an injury that he'll be back here in a few games and be back right in the heart of our lineup and pick up right where he left off, because he was really coming on the last few days that he was healthy. And then, hey, don't sleep on Cape Peloso. Okay, that guy. Don't forget that guy has been living on base via the walk. He's owning the zone. I think he leads the SEC in on base percentage. If not, he's in the top 2 or 3. All right, and the barrels are going to come. The barrels and the pop is going to come, and excited to see this thing go forward.
Last one, Coach. We'll get you out of here, and we appreciate your time on game day. LSU's facing Oral Roberts in game 1 of a 3-game set coming up today at 1 o'clock over at the box. What have you made of the pitching staff that you guys are featuring right now? It seems like another side of it that you just have options over at LSU. The more you guys are playing these midweek games, you're rolling out more arms.
Yeah, there's certainly a lot of options. I think that the starting rotation obviously has had a lot of hype around it, rightfully so. It's elite. It's special people, special players. I think that a really bright spot has come out of some freshman arms. You see Garrett Edwards, Blake Money, Will Helmers doing what they're doing. Ty Floyd had a great outing the other night. Some excitement there, and I think that's going to continue to take shape here as we go forward. We've got, I think it ends up being 10 games in 12 days here that we're in the middle of the stretch, and, arms. It's the key to everything. My first year in coaching, I'll never forget my first boss, Coach Brian O'Connor, came up to me one day and said, "Hey, whenever you think you've got enough pitchers, go recruit 2 more." And that's something I've lived by, is that the best teams have depth on the mound, and it's been exciting to see what those guys are doing out there.
Coach Eddie Smith over at LSU Baseball. Tigers take the field today at 1 o'clock as they will be facing Oral Roberts, and LSU right now could be argued they may be the hottest team in the country going in today's matchup at 1 o'clock. Coach, keep up the great work. Thank you for your time on game day, and we'll talk again soon.
Thanks, Jordy. You have a great day.
Yes, sir. You too. There's Eddie Smith checking in from the box this morning as the Tigers will take on Oral Roberts at 1 o'clock this afternoon as LSU and Oral Roberts will square off there in game 1 of that series. If you want 20% off and free shipping with the promo code the JC Show at manscaped.com, then you got to get over there today. Manscaped.com. That is manscaped.com. 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com using the promo code JC Show. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. They sent us a great starter package, and feeling fresh, boys.
Uh-oh.
Feeling fresh. I can promise you that it does.
You can see Lloyd unboxing everything on our TikTok.
That's right.
That's where it absolutely works over at manscaped.com. Make sure and use the promo code JC Show. You get 20% off and free shipping when you mention the JC Show over at manscaped.com. Nobody understands this better than we do, or I do, over here at the Jordy Culotta Show. Take my word for it. Manscaped.com. Use the promo code JC Show. Next, we talk LSU basketball with John Brady right here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Hey, it's no secret what we got going over here at the Jordy Culotta Show. We're trying to disrupt how media and advertising moves forward. My friend of over 35 years, Barrett Blondo, is doing the same thing for real estate with his new company, Falaya. I met with him in his own personal undisclosed location, and I got to see firsthand what Falaya has been doing and what he's been working on. It blew my mind, man. They are putting all the tools once reserved for professionals right in the hands of the homeowner. It's basically for sale by owner on steroids. For more information, give my guy Barrett Blondo a call today at 225-939-6153 or visit him at Falaya. That's FALAYA.com for more info. Barrett Blondo over at Falaya.com. Changing the game in real estate. Every time we talk to LSU head basketball coach Will Wade here on the Jordy Culotta Show, it's brought to you by Phil's Oyster Bar. Some exciting new things coming up at Phil's here during the Lenten season, including featuring new seafood specials every Friday in addition to the seafood-filled menu over there. And they're offering up brunch right now on Saturday and Sundays, which will have bottomless mimosas. Don't forget Monday night 50-cent oysters and $2 draft beers, all over at Phil's Oyster Bar. Check them out. They're online at philsoysterbar.com, but they're located in the South Downs Shopping Center, a staple here in Baton Rouge for a long time. Go tell Anthony Piazza and the crew hello. Phil's Oyster Bar. Hey, if you're in the market for a custom home, get in touch with our friend Rhett Bourgeois over at RMB Builders. They're online at RMB-Builders, and Rhett can do just about anything you need around the house. He can build you a new one. He can repair the one you're in. He can remodel. If you need commercial construction help, he's licensed for commercial as well. He can handle an office renovation, building maintenance. Check out everything. It's online at rmb-builders.com. He's on social media, Instagram and Facebook. You can find him at the handle at RMB Builders LLC. But the website is fantastic. Check him out, rmb-builders.com. All right, welcome back into the Jordy Culotta Show presented by Go Chevrolet here on this Friday. Should be a beautiful Friday. Not sure about this evening as LSU baseball moved up to 1 o'clock start. And tomorrow, LSU baseball game 2 will go off at 3 o'clock before wrapping up the weekend on Sunday versus Oral Roberts. But the big news is that the Tigers were moved up to 1 o'clock today, 3 o'clock tomorrow, and 2 o'clock on Sunday. Will be your 3-game set for LSU baseball versus Oral Roberts. Good stuff from Eddie Smith, the Tigers hitting coach. Very impressive with Smith, his approach. I know a lot of you who are watching inside YouTube, and thank you for finding us out there again on the Jordy Culotta Show. Right 2.0. Here on the Jordy Culotta Show YouTube channel 2.0, but easy to find us on the website as well at jordyculotta.show.com, and you can get in touch. Let's get Coach Brady here if you want to give me. I got him now. Okay.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
You there?
I'm here, man. We're live, so watch yourself.
We're all here.
Watch yourself.
I'm glad you told me that.
Yeah, I know.
Everyone says that.
This late in my career, I don't need that.
Especially with the transformation you've made, man. We'd hate to go back to square one.
I got them all fooled.
That's right. John Brady from the LSU Sports Radio Network joining us here. LSU basketball earlier this week, Coach. As I said, they needed a get-right game, right? Vanderbilt came in at the right time, and they get into the win column, and a huge one tomorrow at Missouri. What do you make of the Tigers' last game out and what tomorrow could mean for the future of LSU hoops?
Well, I think to get well, that was a good game to get well against. Yeah. Vandy came in here without their two best players, and you saw Vandy beat Cincinnati last night and had Pippen back. He gets 36. He got 23 the first half, I saw. So he's certainly a main player for Vanderbilt to have a chance to win. So it was a good game for LSU to get. We certainly, offensively, we played well, and defensively we were good enough. And anytime LSU shoots around 50%, they really don't lose. So I think carrying it into Missouri, I was surprised Missouri won at Florida. I thought Florida, every time I get the feeling good about Florida, they do something stupid and lose a game I think they ought to win or should win. And then they win a game I don't think they're capable of winning. But Missouri went into Florida and won, and I'm glad Missouri won that game. I think Missouri may get a little soft and read their press clippings and feel good about themselves. And plus, it'd be a great win for LSU to get coming off Missouri winning at Florida. But, Missouri's a good defensive team. Offensively, they take advantage of the break if they get it. They're a physical team. I think
I think Quanzo Martin's a good coach. I think his team will be well prepared. It's a big game for them too, and it's a big road win opportunity for LSU. So I think the field goal stat's going to make a difference. I say that all the time, but particularly with this LSU team. And I think the thing that people scratch their heads the most about LSU is how good we can look at certain times and beat people significantly, and then at other times we look disinterested sometimes, like we don't want to play. So I think it's the swing of this team that's got people kind of confused. But make no doubt about this. Will Wade in 4 years here has been more successful than any coach to ever coach basketball at LSU. And so 10 wins again in the SEC. I mean, that's unprecedented here. So I think the thing that makes people scratch their heads is the swing of this team, how good LSU can look and play. And then on the other end, sometimes, we don't play as well as we're capable of. And I think that's what got people, somewhat confused from time to time.
What did you see in that 2-game stretch versus Georgia, and even the second half versus Arkansas, where they looked a little different than they did versus State, Tennessee, and Auburn?
Right. The making of baskets, the field goal stat. It seems like we don't shoot it well. We get disinterested on the other end of the floor, and it should be the opposite. If you're not making baskets, you better defend it and rebound it on the other end to keep the game what I call workable. So when you do start making baskets, you can overcome a deficit. But if you don't, and the score separates, too far, you can't get it back. So I think the field goal stat with this LSU team is really significant. If we shoot around 50% or certainly above 50%, we're not going to lose. But if a team holds us in the low 40s, it's difficult for LSU to win some games in that regard, because we're not stopping the people consecutively like we need to when the ball's not going in the goal.
Todd Jones inside of the bunker. Culotta, tell Coach Brady hello from me. He coached Kermit Davis and I at Starkville High School in 1978. You got to be pretty impressed with what Kermit Davis has got going on in Oxford. I mean, he's got his group playing well. I know he's a very good friend of yours, and you guys have shared a bench.
Well, the thing with Kermit's team is they lose to Vandy. I don't know how he lost to that Vandy team without their two best players. I mean, that team's not very good without those two guys, and they were able to beat Kermit, but he came back and wins at Kentucky. The thing with Kermit's team is they're built on defending it and rebounding. They don't score very well at all. Now, when they do score, they're real good when they can get Schuler to play as the guard. But on the other end of the floor, they know they don't score, so they go into a game knowing we've got to stop the other team to have an opportunity to win, because they're not real talented on the offensive end. LSU's very talented on the offensive end most of the time. So just a different mindset, and it's a different approach. But he's done a nice job. Outside of Nate Oates, I don't know. Kermit's done as good a job as anybody in the league this year, in my opinion.
Coach, Andre Hyatt was he got a community service award from the SEC, and we don't talk about him a lot. I know that you're very impressed with his play and what he brings the team when he's out there. Can you talk about coaching a guy like Hyatt that may not be getting the playing time that he believes he deserves at certain points, but you have to look at him at times and say, hey, man, we need you, and he goes out there and still produces. What's it like from a coaching standpoint having a player that's in that type of role?
Well, every team needs a guy to understand his role, fulfill his role, and don't try to do things outside of that that doesn't make the team function on either end of the floor as it needs to beat quality opponents. That's the key, and I think it goes with him getting an award like that demonstrates his character and what type of young man he is, and I think he carries that onto the team in terms of being an unselfish guy, understanding his role, understanding he's there to help the other players, take open shots when he gets them. Those kinds of things are invaluable for a coach. And then he's a good practice guy. He's good in the locker room. He's not going to second guess the coach in front of other players. Those type of things are needed. Garrett Temple was like that with us. I mean, he probably been on another team as opposed to that team in 06. He probably could have scored more baskets and done more things, but he was willing to accept his role, and that has carried him throughout an NBA career where he's been really successful, making a lot of money.
Coach, I was at the Pelicans-Bulls game on Tuesday night, And it was crazy to see Garrett chasing J.J. Redick off of screens in an NBA game nearly 15 years to the day, and when both of those guys kind of made a name in March on that type of it was just wild to see that 15 years later, both of those guys in the league playing at a very high level.
Yeah, well, both of them are good guys, and certainly JJ's a more talented offensive player. That's what's carried him, and Garrett's a very talented defensive player and understands his role, and that's what's carried him. That's ironic because Tuesday night, Tim Floyd and I went to the UNO basketball game. And, Floyd and I coached. I was with Floyd out there for 10 months. He coached out there 6 years or so and on the lakefront. And somebody asked him, did you go to the Pelicans game? They play in Chicago. Tim says, I'm not going there. Both those teams fired me.
That's right. That's right. John Brady joining us here, and he'll be on the call tomorrow versus Missouri. You brought him up a little bit, but what stands out about Kwanzo's team? Because Missouri seemed like they've been elite at times, and then they've been a little head-scratching at times.
Yeah, I think that's the thing about the SEC this year. Outside of Alabama, the predictable thing about the SEC is the unpredictability of how some of these teams are playing. I think I look at the Missouri team as a conservative offensive team. They'll take advantage of the break if they can, but very good in the half court and will be determined to try and rebound the ball. I think that's how you play them, and we'll see which team does what they do better. Can LSU score in the 80s, or can they hold LSU to the low 70s?
Safe travels, Coach. We will see you.
Okay,
we'll see you next week.
Okay, thanks, Jordy.
Yes, sir. There is Coach John Brady checking in for LSU basketball this morning as the Tigers take off to Missouri for a road trip, as LSU will be taking on Mizzou. Remember our podcast. We appreciate the support of the podcast. Yesterday we crossed the 10,000 download mark, as that was yesterday. How about that, man?
That's
very
awesome.
very big shout out to everybody out there who's been supporting the podcast. Remember our podcast is brought to you daily by RMB Builders. That is Rhett Bourgeois over at RMB Builders at 921-7062. RMB-builders.com is where you can find them on the internet. That's their website there. But custom built homes, if you need remodels around the house. I know Katie is dealing with Rhett Bourgeois right now, and he's helping
on
them.
my Ring camera right now. There's like 4 trucks from Rhett
All right.
in my driveway.
RMB Builders, RMB-builders.com, 921-7062. We appreciate everybody who has been interactive with us today. Found us. Remember, JordyCulottaShow.com is where you can go find the audio and the video. Jordy Culotta Show 2.0 on YouTube is the new channel that we're urging you to subscribe and share and get notified for all the content that'll be happening. Don't forget, on Monday morning, we're looking forward to the launch of the Grit Iron Show with our own Whitney Bro. Whitney behind the scenes has been putting in a ton of work, hard work, and effort to get this thing off the ground, and we're looking forward to this show launching on Monday, the Grit Iron Show. If you're not following Whit on social media, you got to do that, as she's done a tremendous job of counting down the days to getting to launch date, which will be on March 8th on Monday morning, which is International Women's Day. As Whit and the crew will be here. Whit is in the bunker asking about some plans today. It is Lloyd's birthday. We had a couple of birthdays here on staff this week. Michael Thompson celebrated a birthday earlier this week, and then of course Lloyd, as Lizzie turned 29 today.
And still living with the parents, just killing the game.
It's all good,
dude.
bro.
Yeah.
It's all good. It's all good. Screwing up at work, living with the parents. Just the life of a 29-year-old, bro.
I'm flying through.
What's the weekend plans? What's the weekend plans?
I don't know. Don't
More
kill
meatloaf?
myself. Yeah. No. Mom. No, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
My brother just hit me up. He wants to do something tonight, so we'll see. Maybe we'll go to a Bourgeois Park or what have you.
Yes, that's
And,
Beauvoir.
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 It seems fancy.
You and your bougie.
Your
bougie
for the park.
taste. That's
Yeah.
right.
I got to go early and get a seat.
All right, we'll 5-minute critic. We'll talk some Hollywood next with Nathan Velasquez.
Y'all, I brought that stock.
Hey, you know it's no secret what we got going over here at the Jordy Culotta Show. We're trying to disrupt how media and advertising moves forward. My friend of over 35 years, Barrett Blondo, is doing the same thing for real estate with his new company, Falaya. I met with him in his own personal undisclosed location, and I got to see firsthand what Falaya has been doing and what he's been working on. It blew my mind, man. They are putting all the tools once reserved for professionals right in the hands of the homeowner. It's basically for sale by owner on steroids. For more information, give my guy Barrett Blondo a call today at 225-939-6153 or visit him at Falaya. That's FALAYA.com for more info. Barrett Blondo over at Falaya.com. Changing the game in real estate. Can you be assured that the air and surfaces in your home are clean, sanitized, and safe for you and your entire family? You can now by logging on to Valera.com/Jordy Culotta, where you, your home, your office, your family can be protected 24/7 with active pure technology. This NASA-based science has proven 99.9% reduction. Every time we talk to LSU head basketball coach Will Wade here on the Jordy Culotta Show, it's brought to you by Phil's Oyster Bar. Some exciting new things coming up at Phil's here during the Lenten season, including featuring new seafood specials every Friday, in addition to the seafood-filled menu over there. And they're offering up brunch right now on Saturday and Sundays, which will have bottomless mimosas. Don't forget Monday night 50-cent oysters and $2 draft beers. All over at Phil's Oyster Bar. Check them out. They're online at philsoysterbar.com, but they're located in the Southdown Shopping Center, a staple here in Baton Rouge for a long time. Go tell Anthony Piazza and the crew hello. Phil's Oyster Bar. Hey, if you're in the market for a custom home, get in touch with our friend Rhett Bourgeois over at RMB Builders. They're online at RMB-Builders, and Rhett can do just about anything you need around the house. He can build you a new one. He can repair the one you're in. He can remodel. If you need commercial construction help, he's licensed for commercial as well. He can handle an office renovation, building maintenance. Check out everything. It's online at rmb-builders.com. He's on social media, Instagram and Facebook. You can find him at the handle at RMB Builders LLC. But the website is fantastic. Check him out, rmb-builders.com. All right. Appreciate all the interaction today as we've been jam-packed and moving here on a Friday morning. Mickey Joseph early in hour one breaking down LSU football as the Tigers out on the Ponderosa through the fourth quarter program right now, waiting to get on to spring practice, which will be coming up here on March 15th. Coach Joseph was breaking that down for us early on here in hour number one. Eddie Smith, LSU baseball hitting coach, stopped by at 8 o'clock, and then John Brady talking a little LSU basketball. We'll switch it up and go out west and link up with the 5-minute critic, Nathan Velasquez, who is with us every Friday here as he's out in Hollywood. You can find him everywhere on social media. Number 5-minute critic, 5-min critic on Twitter. The YouTube channel is 5-minute critic, as you can find him there breaking down movies both on Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's been a big week up at the 5-minute critic. Saw the Big Lebowski breakdown, and then the Golden Globes were happening out in L.A. Good morning, Nate. How are you, buddy?
Good morning, everyone. How's it going?
Doing good.
Great.
Good to hear
Yes,
you
sir.
back down in South Louisiana, and looking forward to your trip down home here next week and getting you into studio.
Almost impossible to find out the address. You ask, where am I going next Friday? You just go, hey, you got to figure it out. We don't know.
There will be a horse in a field with right around dusk, where we will send you to, and then you can ride that horse in, keeping the blindfold on, Nate. So looking forward to getting you back down south.
I just sent you the moat code.
Big Lebowski, you broke it down for the 5-minute critic earlier this week. It is it's one of our favorites here on the Jordy Culotta Show. What was the breakdown?
Absolutely. And look, anyone that wants to follow, again, like you said, number 5 Min Critic on Instagram, we usually throw up a few polls, get people involved, seeing what type of movies they want to hear a breakdown of. So yeah, the first piece of audience engagement was The Big Lebowski. And I don't know how many times, I mean, come on, we've all seen The Big Lebowski like probably 3 times at least. It's like the most quotable movie in existence. Like, come on, someone can come up to you right off the street and just, is this your homework, Larry? Is this your homework, Larry?
Do you see what happens?
Do you see what happens?
This is what happens, Larry.
But the weird thing about it, I got to thinking about it, is it's almost, the plot almost goes nowhere. Like, by the end of it, it almost like, I apologize, hope I'm not getting any spoilers for anyone. It almost kind of drops off there a little bit, and it's kind of like, you know, the dude isn't learning anything. Walter doesn't learn anything. I mean, sadly, Johnny maybe learns a little bit too much. But it's still incredible. And I think what it is, if you want a full breakdown, again, go to 5 Minute Critic on YouTube. I think what it is that the dude is a spoof of what it actually means to be a character. What makes everything hilarious about this movie is that no one learns anything at all. In fact, the only thing that this character cares about is a damn rug.
Right.
And that is hilarious. All of the comedy points to, hey, dude, let's go bowling.
Tied the room together, Nate. I mean, the rug tied the room together.
It really did. It did. It really tied the room together.
I always thought like early on it was the cast, right? I mean, this is a superstar cast. I mean, whether it's Bridges Goodman or Julianne Moore as the lead, but I mean, like even like Philip Seymour Hoffman, Tara Reid. I mean, isn't Steve Buscemi in this? I mean, it's an incredible cast.
Oh, the cast is absolutely incredible, and it's every person that comes on board, every character sticks out as like a fully fleshed out person. Even the landlord that's like scared to come up to the dude, asking him for the rent, and then he goes and sees that weird little play. Like, that guy's on screen for like 45 seconds, but he sticks out as so fresh and original. Like, everything about this movie is like wholly original. And I've got to say, being out here in LA, I almost completely forgot that the thing takes place in Los Angeles. Yeah. It's an incredibly funny side of the city. It's an incredibly funny side of character and story. It's a legend.
Speaking of Los Angeles, you guys hosted the Golden Globes last week. What was that event like in town? I know that you probably don't have anything to comp it to because this is your first true season out in Hollywood, but I mean, the buzz can't be what it usually is, right?
It's weird. It's very, very strange. No, you're right. And I think, you know, there's 2 sides to the Golden Globes when they do it. They do comedy and they do drama. So on the drama end, Nomadland won, and that category feels very 2020. Like, everyone pushed their movies back a year because they were worried what's going to happen with movie theaters. So the pickings were, that's a fine movie. It's okay. If you want to watch it on Hulu, like, it'll probably be worth it. It could win. It'll definitely be nominated. But the really big thing about the Golden Globes, and I know, you know, most people maybe don't really pay attention to the Golden Globes, but if you're into the movie conversation, you want to watch it because this is deciding what happens at the Oscars, and that decides who gets the big budget 2 years from now. So that's why if you're into the conversation, you want to pay attention. And the biggest issue, I think, this year is Borat 2 took Best Comedy. Like, Borat 2 is now on its way to the Oscars, which is baffling, I've got to say. I don't know what that means.
What does it mean? Like, what is the feeling of the future? I mean, I know Coming to America launches today on Amazon Prime. Like these big production movies now are launching in different avenues. What is the feeling of, you know, you mentioned like Borat now going to the Emmys. I mean, what is the feeling of the future of the business out there?
I don't really know. I feel like everyone is still waiting to see kind of what the rest of this year holds, waiting to see everything get back in step. But I'm going to say, if the fact that Borat 2 won big at the Golden Globes, I think shows that the people that are voting for these movies are a little bit out of touch with what I think most people are looking for in terms of, I would say, mainly quality. And if this is going to be, it'll be interesting to see what happens with the Oscars. I think they'll be telling. But if they're going to be pushing movies where they're not putting quality at the forefront, then Hollywood might be in a little bit of trouble. But I think it still remains to be seen. And we're, I think, 10 days away from the nominations happening. So that I think this conversation right now is going to determine what we're going to be seeing in Hollywood over the next year.
We have seen restraints lifted down here in the South. Texas and Mississippi have gone full out, and Louisiana is going back to 50% capacity at public and outdoor events. What's the trends like in California right now?
Next week here they do it in kind of like color systems. So like if you're in purple, then you're no luck. And LA has been in purple for a good while. We're supposed to be going into the red, which is better. We're supposed to go to the red next week, which that means movie theaters open up. Honestly, it still feels like too little too late, but it is what it is.
All right, Nathan, have a good trip home next week, and we'll send you the address. Don't tell anybody.
Absolutely. You'll have a good weekend.
All right, buddy.
Thanks,
See
man.
you. There's Nathan Velasquez checking in from Hollywood this morning, as we have been flying through the last hour and a half here to get to 8:40. We'll talk to Jake Crane, who's up at the J-Boy Show, to close it out. But we'll take a deep breath and exhale here over the last hour and a half of news. Katie has shown up from Carpool. Mike's about to head out to go cover the press conference over at LSU, in which the facts will be giving to the Hush Blackwell investigative report that is going to come out. You had a thought on Les Miles? Did you want to?
I don't know if I should really get into that.
Okay.
If we want to keep talking.
I don't know why not.
Okay,
Yeah, you seem pretty
okay.
passionate.
I feel bad. I feel bad for him. I think
You feel bad for him?
I do.
Okay.
I think it's like just.
You don't know him.
I think it's getting out of control. I don't know him. I don't know him.
Are you sure? Well, she's not his type, dude. She's got dark hair.
Yeah, not your type.
Not
Doesn't have the butt cut.
Yeah.
He actually still dyes his hair.
I think it's really unfortunate.
To come out now?
No, I think the whole thing is just really unfortunate. I think people are just going to keep coming out. It's just going to be a domino effect, and I just think it's sad when stuff like this comes out. People are just coming out of the woodwork with it.
I am anxious to see what happens coming out here at this report.
10 o'clock.
At 10 o'clock.
And other stuff is going to come out.
Yeah, there'll be other stuff, and there'll be other people, but I think it'll all really kind of. There will be other people. And I think a lot of it will surface around the leadership during that time. Oliva, Miles, F. King Alexander. So it'll be interesting to see how it.
A lot of people are having a weird countdown to 10 o'clock, I'd imagine. Like, their day started off a little angsty, and they're just like, I wonder what's going to come out, because they don't know. I would imagine you don't know everything that they're going to say or what's going to get leaked or it's in the report. So, weird breakfast to have this morning.
Remember, if you are in the market for refinancing, if you are looking to buy a home, if you are looking to invest into an investment property, we can help you out over at Angel Oak Home Mortgage. Get in touch with us this morning. You can email me at Jordy at JordyCulottaShow.com, but I'm on the team over there with Lee Gilly and Matt Lanassa. Very creative ways into getting you into refinancing and into mortgages over at Angel Oak. If you want to learn more, hit us up, Jordy at JordyCulottaShow.com. I will get you in touch with a very experienced team of people who have been in the business for a long time, handling your mortgage. If you need to refi, if you're investing into a property, if you're getting a condominium, if you're buying a new house, get in touch with me and we can help you out as far as your mortgages go over at Angel Oak at JordyCulottaShow.com. All right, we will talk a little bit of recruiting from the conference standpoint, as we will link up with the J-Boy Show, who is doing a lot of similar to what we've got going on down here. Jake Crane has an extensive background. He's been in coaching. He's played in Alabama. He's coached in Alabama. And he's also got one of the top podcasts out there, the J-Boy Show, that you can get everywhere, wherever you are getting your podcasts. He's on YouTube. He's all over the place at the J-Boy Show. In fact, his last show, he sat down with Booger McFarland, so we'll ask him what his conversation was like there, and just get more of a league-wide stance on recruiting and get his thoughts from somebody a little bit on the outside of LSU going into this season and what the thought is there. All right, you're listening to the Jordy Culotta Show presented by Go Chevrolet. When we come back, we'll have Jake Crane of the J-Boy Show joining us here. Every time we talk to LSU head basketball coach Will Wade here on the Jordy Culotta Show, it's brought to you by Phil's Oyster Bar. Some exciting new things coming up at Phil's here during the Lenten season, including featuring new seafood specials every Friday, in addition to the seafood-filled menu over there. And they're offering up brunch right now on Saturday and Sundays which will have bottomless mimosas. Don't forget Monday night 50-cent oysters and $2 draft beers, all over at Phil's Oyster Bar. Check them out. They're online at philsoysterbar.com, but they're located in the Southdown Shopping Center, a staple here in Baton Rouge for a long time. Go tell Anthony Piazza and the crew hello. Phil's Oyster Bar. Hey, if you're in the market for a custom home, get in touch with our friend Rhett Bourgeois over at RMB Builders. They're online at rmb-builders, and Rhett can do just about anything you need around the house. He can build you a new one. He can repair the one you're in. He can remodel. If you need commercial construction help, he's licensed for commercial as well. He can handle an office renovation, building maintenance. Check out everything. It's online at rmb-builders.com. He's on social media, Instagram and Facebook. You can find him at the handle at RMB Builders LLC. But the website is fantastic. Check him out, rmb-builders.com. Hey, you know it's no secret what we got going over here at the Jordy Culotta Show. We're trying to disrupt how media and advertising moves forward. My friend of over 35 years, Barrett Blondo, is doing the same thing for real estate with his new company, Falaya. I met with him in his own personal undisclosed location, and I got to see firsthand what Falaya has been doing and what he's been working on. It blew my mind, man. They are putting all the tools once reserved for professionals right in the hands of the homeowner. It's basically for sale by owner on steroids. For more information, give my guy Barrett Blondo a call today at 225-939-6153 or visit him at Falaya. That's FALAYA.com for more info. Barrett Blondo over at Falaya.com. Changing the game in real estate. All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, daily presented by Go Chevrolet. Remember, the podcast is online if you need it, and you need to find it. Wherever you are getting your podcast from, Apple, Spotify, get over there to the store and download the podcast, and we appreciate that. As yesterday we crossed the 10,000 mark threshold, so we appreciate the support out there. Find us on Facebook. JordyCulottaShow.com is where we are streaming as well. Remember, you can close it out there and check out what's going on your phone, on your smart PC, on your smart device.
Smart PC.
Sorry, yeah. All right. Enough of you. Enough of you.
We did have that one dumb PC. We got rid of it.
Yeah. That one sucked.
Gave up.
Jordy's like our personal Geico commercial.
Yeah. The J-Boy Show is hosted by Jake Crane. Nobody cares how early you woke up. Jake Crane is he's the host of one of the biggest podcasts happening right now. My man's covering the SEC. He's got a great background, and he's joining us here on the Jordy Culotta Show. J-Boy, good morning. How are you, man?
Hey, Jordy, man, it's an honor to come on. I love the show, man. I watch it as much as I can on YouTube. You guys are killing it. Rivers, all you guys, and I just appreciate the opportunity to come on.
Absolutely, bro. We same back to you, man. Is you got a good thing going on. The thing that you got going on, Jake, that I think is a little different. We're doing something that other people are kind of doing, trying to bring a type of entertainment show quality to YouTube. You have got a great niche in which you have dived in on the SEC, and you have focused solely on the conference, and you have kind of become the voice of this medium of the SEC. I saw you had Booger McFarland on your last episode. What has this journey been like? Because I know that you started around April of 2020, or about to come up on a year, and you're up to 15,000 subscribers on Twitter and followers there, and have done a tremendous job of branding this out there. What has this ride been like?
Man, Jordy, I appreciate the kind words. It's been wild, to be honest with you. It's been great. Very blessed, very lucky. Obviously timing is everything. And I coached for the last 9 years, 5 at the Division I level, in football, and came back during Christmas break one time. And this is really right before the pandemic started hitting, when they were kind of talking about it. Did a few podcasts and enjoyed it, and they did pretty well, and actually drove all the way up to the Memphis airport with my brother, getting ready to fly back up there to Montana where I was coaching, and just kind of looked at him and was like, man, I want to see how far I can go with this thing. And it's just been a whirlwind, trying to obviously focus on the SEC and try and be as informative as possible. And I want to take people into their favorite team's facility, put them in that staff meeting room or that recruiting room, and make them feel like they're there, and try and take the complex things of the game, whether it be football, basketball, baseball, whatever, and put it into, almost layman's terms. So it's been a wild ride. It's awesome. I love doing it. I'm passionate about it. And like I say, man, it beats working for a living.
Yes, it does. Jake Crane joining us here on the Jordy Culotta Show. What has that journey been like? So are you traveling to SEC towns and building this relationships? Or are you just going off of your coaching tree and using kind of your personality to make your way?
Well, I'm kind of doing a little bit of everything, to be honest with you. It's something where, it kind of started out with a lot of Auburn flavor, building the base up, and we've built it out. I mean, we've had, John Brady, who's came on your show and does a great job a lot. You mentioned Booger, Tony Barnhart, Bruce Pearl, Hugh Freeze, and I try and mix it up and from a recruiting standpoint as well, and just trying to be as versatile as possible. I don't want to get, pigeonholed into one thing, and it just keeps growing. The guest list has been awesome. I've had Jordy Culotta on, which is a big one for me, but no, it's been great, and just trying to branch it out. And again, it's how this thing goes. It can go 19 different ways, and we're just trying to find ways to make the audience more involved and be interactive. And we're going to start traveling to some SEC campuses. We got a segment called "Prove Me Wrong" that we're going to start doing from the campuses, and we're just really gonna grow it and got merchandise. So it's just been really cool, man.
Jake Crane is from the J-Boy Show. You can find it online at thejboyshow.com is the website. You can hit him on Twitter at that same handle if you want to find him there, at the J-Boy Show, to keep up with what's happening on social media. IG's the same handle, at the J-Boy Show, so keep up with what's going on there. Let's go to Auburn or let's start here, LSU, before we get to the rest of the conference. Mm-hmm. What's your overall thought of LSU going into spring football, which they crank up next week, coming off of a 5-5 season after a magical national championship run?
Yeah, and what a magical year that was. Watching what they were able to do offensively. But I'm the firm belief, Jordy, that LSU does better when they have a chip on their shoulder and they're somewhat of an outsider. I think Ed Orgeron. Yeah, and look, if you would have told me that Bo Pelini, the hire, would have gone the way it would, I'd have thought you were crazy. I didn't think that was a crazy hire. He's a guy that was proven, but sometimes, as well as I do, it just doesn't work out. And LSU obviously lost so much. I mean, I was talking with Booger McFarland, and you talk about the amount of guys that go in the draft. I mean, you watch the Super Bowl, and you got LSU guys hitting each other left and right. Mm-hmm. And then you look at the draft, and you look at, obviously, with the opt-outs and Jamar Chase and stuff like that. But I think LSU is poised to come back strong. I like Miles Brennan. I like that he plays through the pocket. I like that he's able to go through progressions. He's able to throw the throws to the field that he needs to make. They always call them NFL throws. Whether it's the corner or whether it's sail out of 2x2, he's able to do that. But I think what you're going to see this year is a hungry LSU team, because and I know that every time they go to a summer workout, every time they go in the weight room and lift, there's going to be videos playing of losing this game or the play that they didn't make. And there's nothing that motivates an 18 to 22-year-old male than not having a good season or being kind of embarrassed in front of your friends losing a game, because you the team that just followed the national championship team. So I expect LSU to come back hungry. They've got talent all over that roster, especially up front. The way they've recruited has been fantastic, and I wouldn't be surprised to see LSU have a hell of a year.
When you look at DJ Mangus and Jake Peets coming back over offensively for LSU, does that mean anything to the conference? Does anybody look at that and say, man, they're going to get back to where they were in 19, or did Joe Burrow really make up too much of that from a competitive standpoint?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think trying to compare any offense to that 2019 LSU offense, which was historic, is like, trying to compare a hitter to Babe Ruth in the same thing. But what I think you'll see, what I think Ed did, was he went and hired a guy that literally looked, I thought it's like Joe Brady's little brother. That's what it looks like to me. Not only do they look similar, but they have similar philosophies. And what I love about Pete is you're going to get back to being formationally balanced where you can go out, be multiple. You don't have too many tendencies. I thought LSU formationally last year had too many tendencies, especially when they got an 11 personnel, especially when they put Gilbert outside in the slot. There's only a handful of things that they did. And what these NFL guys understand, and the college game is moving that way, it is a game of matchups, and it is a game of figuring out what defense that you're going to be going against. And when you have an NFL guy that understands if I motion, if I get in certain formations in motion, I'm going to know whether it's man, I'm going to know whether it's zone. Because in my opinion, Jordy, that's why a lot of people have gone to pace and tempo. I talked to Hugh Freeze about this, is to recognize what they're getting. Because if I'm going fast, I know that you're going to be in base if you can't get your sub packages in there, because everything defensively nowadays is packaged. Okay, it's 3rd and 8, it's a passing down. Let's put our pass rushers in. We may go dime. We may throw our third corner in there at nickel. Alabama just decided to play 2-man every time because they have unbelievable players, but they can out leverage you to death. So I like what Pete's is going to do formationally from a motion standpoint, and I think it's going to help Miles Brennan more than anybody because he understands I'm going to work from the field to the boundary or the boundary to the field, depending on how many safeties I have up top. You look at Mangus, I think he's just another guy that you can add into the fold that's going to be able to go into that game plan meeting and say, listen, we're going to get cover 2. They're going to run cut to the boundary. They're going to give us quarters. They're going to give us bail. Here's what we like because we've got to get our best players. You talk about Boutte. Boutte's about to go off because they're going to put him in an unbelievable position to go off. So at the end of the day, I love the hires that Edo made, and I'm very excited to see the NFL mindset that he's going to bring to the team, and I think you'll see it early.
Yeah, Boutte is going to have a Justin Jefferson type role in this offense where you can move him around, you can put him into playmaking opportunities, and to come from that will probably be a very explosive season in numbers. We were talking to Jake Crane of the J-Boy Show right here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Make sure you're hitting him up on social media and hit him up on his website at J-Boy Show, thejboyshow.com. What would you make of Auburn's hire and Brian Harsin?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you, Jordy, and being from Auburn, I've never seen the Auburn fan base more behind one guy, and I think it's for one reason. And you know this. Everybody in that room knows this, that knows about Auburn. They make good old boy hires. They hire people that, okay, they're going to hire this guy. There's really no ifs, ands, or buts. It's the guy that knows Gene Chizik, or it's the guy that knows the guy that coached for Pat Dye and all this stuff, and I see nothing wrong with that. But Alan Green, the AD, especially after the whole Kevin Steele disaster, which I literally think social media kept Kevin Steele from being hired, and it ended up being the greatest thing that could happen. But they went outside of the norm. I look at Brian Harsin, and I look at a CEO. That's what I see. And I think in today's age, if you're going to go up against the Alabamas and the Georgias and the LSUs, this isn't Star Wars. You can't beat the Death Star being the rebellion. You have to build your own Death Star. And if you've seen what Brian Harsin has done, he's thrown bodies and money at the recruiting department. He's brought in coaches that are well-known throughout the Southeast, whether it's Mike Bobo, Derek Mason, because, again, this all goes back to recruiting. College football is recruiting. That's what it is. The team with the best players that are the most disciplined are going to win the most games. You just look at what Alabama has done. And another thing I think Brian Harsin understands is I know if I bring in a guy like Mike Bobo, we all know what Mike Bobo does offensively. You've seen it at Georgia. He actually went out to Colorado State and threw the ball around a little bit more, but it's going to be a true blend between Brian Harsin and Mike Bobo. And I think what you're going to see is Auburn open it up a little bit more. I think you're going to see them simplify it a little bit for Bo Nix because he has to start playing through the pocket. But I really like the hire. He's a guy that's in there with the weight room and the guys. He understands that Auburn's got to go back to when Auburn goes to play. You expect to win, and we're going to turn it into a fist fight up front. And that's been missing. Their personnel. I mean, Jordy, this stat is crazy to me. Auburn had not signed a high school offensive tackle since 2017.
Wow.
That is incredible.
Is that Prince?
And when with Gus Malzahn, they kept going to the grad transfer market. They'd go JUCO, hadn't signed one until Colby Smith flipped from Tennessee to Auburn under Brian Harsin. They've offered everybody under the sun in the 2022 class at the tackle position. To me, Jordy, the guy gets it. He's 69-19 as a head coach. He has the formula, and he's going to do it his way, not what the boosters want, what he knows wins, and I think that's the way you got to go. Good
insight here from Jake Crane of the J-Boy Show. Catch him. You can catch him online at thejboyshow.com. Last one, I'll get you out of here. What do you make of the East going into next season?
I think it's Georgia and everybody else. I actually think I think Florida's obviously going to take a step back. You lose Kyle Pitts, you lose Kyle Trask, you lose Kadarius Toney. some guys on that defense, even though they weren't very good. Todd Grantham's chewing his fingernails off over there every night, hoping they're going to be a lot better defensively this year. He's going to be shown the door. But, I think you may have a team that surprises people that finishes second in the East. I look at Missouri with what Eli Drinkowitz is doing over there. They've lost a few linemen, but I love what he does offensively. I talked about the motion from Peets and Mangus and all this stuff. He does an unbelievable job at that. I thought he did great with Connor Bazelak, the freshman quarterback who I'm really high on. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Kentucky or Missouri finish second in the East this year. I think, if somebody will tell Mark Stoops that you're allowed to throw the ball forward, I think they'll be a lot better on offense because they're really, one play away from the triple option basically at Kentucky. But I just think the East is down. I'm going to take Georgia. I think it's Georgia, Bama, and everybody else really this year. So the East to me is going to be the least.
J-Boy with the first of a home and home. I'll be at his spot next week at some point after he was here this morning, and we'll probably make this a regular. That was great insight, man. We appreciate it. Jake Crane is a great follow on Twitter at The J-Boy Show. Get him online at thejboyshow.com. Good insight going into a weekend, man. Enjoy it. We'll talk again soon.
Yeah. Hey, y'all too. Y'all keep killing it. We got to do a jersey swap too, man. We got merchandise now, so I got to get a Jordy Culotta shirt. I'm going to give you a J-Boy Show shirt, man. We'll do a jersey swap.
Sounds like a hoodie for a hoodie, bro.
Yes, sir. Let's get it done.
All right,
appreciate y'all.
Thank you. There he is, Jake Crane, checking in this morning from the J-Boy Show. That was good insight around the SEC.
He knows the stuff.
That's good stuff, man. That is good stuff. Make sure you hit him up on his Twitter account. Make sure you hit him up on social media, and that will do Friday's show. What has been a hell of a week here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Again, let us go out saying, and I know a lot of you are asking whether or not we will go live on the heels of what happens with the Hush Blackwell report, and we will have reaction at some point. Katie and I have a pretty busy morning lined up with some meetings for the Jordy Culotta Show. I've got to get over to Angel Oak Home Mortgage for some stuff that's going on. So we got a lot of stuff happening, but we want to. We got to eat cake and celebrate birthdays. That is right. That is right. Happy birthday, Lizzie. Happy birthday, Lizzie. You are lucky to be employed and lucky to be alive, my friend.
Still here.
Absolutely, but you are, bro. A lot like the cockroach. You're going to make it through the nuclear wars. Enjoy it out there. Thank you for the support this week. Find us at the Jordy Culotta Show 2.0. Make sure you are subscribed there. JordyCulottaShow.com. Shout out to Jason Young at JY. JY was helping us out with our web design and doing such great work for us on the back end with our website. For Lizzie, for Katie, for Nikki, for Mike, who has bounced out of here and gone over to LSU for the 10 o'clock press conference. I am Jordy Culotta. We'll be back with you at some point today. We'll hit you on social media and let you know what time we'll get back into the undisclosed location and have reaction to whatever pops at 10 o'clock this morning over at LSU. Hit us on social media. Get the podcast brought to you daily by RMB Builders. And go tell Go Chevrolet that you heard it right here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Have a good Friday. We'll talk again soon.